The orphanage, the real heiress stole my system, so I took her parents in return. Later, she screamed hysterically, "You can't kick me out. If I leave this family, the system will erase me." I smiled, "I've already used that excuse. If you say it again, no one will believe you. My name is Winnie. In my past life, when the biological daughter of the wealthiest man was taken home from the orphanage, she resolutely brought me along. Her reason was, she's pretty, and I like her a lot." Everyone believed it, but I only realized after she orchestrated my death. It turned out she had stolen my entertainment industry system and signed a vicious agreement with it. She would choose one person to bind. Whoever was driven out of the family would be erased by the system. The one who remained would gain double the beauty of the other. The true heiress didn't hesitate to bind me, and she truly did it. After my death, her beauty doubled, and with that face, she entered the entertainment industry, quickly rising to become a top-tier female star, dubbed as the most beautiful vase in the entertainment industry. Whenever someone mentioned her face, she would smile confidently. I just grew into it as I got older, thanks to the genes my parents gave me. At that time, apart from me who was already dead, no one knew this absurd truth. I thought I would never get my revenge, even if I waited until the smoke cleared. But unexpectedly, I was reborn. I was reborn on the very day the richest man came to the orphanage to find his biological daughter. When I came to my senses, I knew the true heiress had once again seized the system and bound it to me. Without hesitation, I went to the toy pile in the orphanage and dug out a tattered teddy bear. In my past life, I heard that the true heiress was holding this teddy bear when she got lost, but as she grew older, she completely forgot about it. Just as the real heiress finished the family reunion and was about to speak up to take me along, I pretended to accidentally drop the teddy bear plushie from my bag. Sure enough, the billionaire couple's reaction changed instantly. The richest man, "This little bear is." The real heiress glanced at it. "Probably a toy prepared by the orphanage. Winnie, aren't you disgusted by how dirty it is?" I looked at her and pretended to say timidly, "I just feel a connection with it." Half an hour later, as soon as the real heiress suggested bringing me along, the richest couple eagerly agreed. In the luxury car, I carefully examined the appearance of the true heiress. I wonder how much my looks will improve after she's eliminated. As soon as we arrived home, the true heiress, Jenny, struck first. "Mom and Dad, even though Winnie isn't your biological daughter, we were very close back in the orphanage. I want her to live in the room next to mine. Is that okay?" Jenny held my arm, grinning with an endearing, silly expression. In my past life, she did the same thing, and back then, I was so moved I burst into tears. Only later did I realize, keeping me close by was just to make it easier for her to frame me and complete her system mission. It's hard for most people to believe that a 15-year-old could have such deep cunning. Sure enough, the billionaire parents were deeply moved and immediately embraced her. "Our sweet, well-behaved daughter, so thoughtful, Winnie. Come here too. From now on, we'll treat you well too." I pretended to be timid as I walked over, obediently rubbing my cheek against my adoptive mother's shoulder. Having lived a second life, I had long since understood the habits of this wealthy couple. My adoptive mother had a favorite cat. Usually, she loved it most when the kitten acted coquettishly like this with her. Indeed, her adoptive mother's eyes lit up, and there was a hint of affection in her gaze when she looked at me, a bit morbid. But I didn't care. The wealthiest couple had the softest hearts. In her previous life, Jenny had won their favor, and whispers in their ears were frequent. I suffered no shortage of grievances either. Wouldn't I be a fool not to use such obvious experience? This lifetime, I will make Jenny disappear from this world in the same way. However, I now face a crucial problem. Jenny and I will definitely be taken for a paternity test. After all, how could such a vast family fortune allow outsiders to meddle? I haven't taken direct action yet, simply building some rapport first. It doesn't seem so cold this way, but once the results come out and Jenny is confirmed as the biological daughter, then no matter how much I whisper in their ears, it won't make a difference. Lying on the luxurious, soft mattress, I found myself unable to sleep. This is a life and death battlefield. I must exhaust all my efforts. Based on memories from my past life, I deliberately styled my hair into twin braids the next day. A long red printed dress on a white background, the very image of the girl next door. Jenny burst into laughter when she saw it. "Winnie, we're in the billionaire's house now. Can you not bring your orphanage habits into this mansion?" How tacky. As they spoke, the adoptive parents also came downstairs for dinner. She went up and linked arms with her adoptive mother, continuing to mock me. "Mom, look at what Winnie's wearing. It's like something from a last-century village girl. Aren't we going out to meet Grandpa and Grandma today, dressing like this? Wouldn't it be embarrassing? I pretended to look over in confusion. Sure enough, tears welled up in my adoptive mother's eyes. Her adoptive father behind her was also stunned. Madam, Winnie really looks like you when you were young. Her adoptive mother choked back a sob, quickly stepped forward, and took my hand, too moved to do anything but nod repeatedly. I looked utterly bewildered, which only made their gazes toward me grow even more tender and pained. On the other side, Jenny was completely dumbfounded. Dad, Mom, what are you talking about? Her adoptive parents didn't answer, instead pulling out that yellowed photo album from the storage room, the same photo album I'd seen countless times in my past life. Adoptive mother, it's true, Winnie's outfit looks almost exactly like what I wore when I was young. Let's go show your grandmother later. She'll definitely cry from excitement. Jenny's face was left with nothing but astonishment. I lowered my eyes to hide my smile. The first move, I won. I integrated into them faster than Jenny. Jenny always considered herself the biological daughter, but the sudden affection my adoptive mother showed me made her feel threatened. She started picking on me again, just like in my past life, framing and slandering, with no moral bottom line. The day after returning from my grandmother's house, my adoptive mother discovered she had lost a necklace. After searching around, the adoptive mother gave up. Forget it, it's not worth much anyway. But Jenny suddenly turned into a champion of justice. How could something go missing in our own home? No way, let's search properly. If it's really gone, then maybe someone stole it. I understood the implication behind her words. If I'm not mistaken, this necklace is now in my house. Forget it, it's just a necklace. Whoever likes it can take it. Jenny frowned tightly. How can that be okay? Yes, how can that be? I also stepped forward. Mom, you should really look for it properly. Jenny and I just arrived at the house and something went missing. If this necklace isn't found, neither of us can clear our names. Only then did my adoptive mother agree. Jenny smiled, her eyes darting back and forth across my face. It was as if she was determined to claim this skin of mine. To prove her innocence, she spoke up first. Mom, let's start searching from my room. Of course, there was nothing in Jenny's bedroom. Now it's my room's turn. But I'm not panicking, because earlier in her bedroom, I discreetly picked up some hair and nail clippings and hid them away. When she reached my bedroom door, Jenny pretended to hesitate. Winnie, if you just confess, Mom definitely won't blame you. You took the necklace, didn't you? I shook my head in fear and trepidation, my face full of panic. Mom, I didn't. Jenny interrupted me. Mom, I was afraid to say it because I thought it would hurt you. Yesterday, I even saw her sneaking into your room. I thought Mom was looking for her to have a private chat, but it turned out she was trying to steal something. My adoptive mother frowned slightly and glanced at me. I knew her old weakness of being easily swayed was acting up again, but that's fine. I was just struggling to find a reason to put on a show anyway. I didn't say a word and directly opened my bedroom door. Jenny was the first to rush in. After rummaging through the bed, she headed straight for my dressing table. Jenny, stop looking if it's not there. The adoptive mother never took action, but she didn't make any substantial effort to stop Jenny either. The next second, Jenny pulled a necklace from the dresser drawer. Mom, look, I told you, she really stole your necklace. My foster mother looked at me in shock, then carefully examined the necklace. It really is mine. Winnie, you, holding the necklace. My foster mother was heartbroken. You've only been here for a few days. How could you do such a thing? This necklace isn't even worth much. If you wanted one, I could have taken you to buy it. Why steal? Jenny kept fanning the flames beside her, even dramatically clutching her chest and taking 2 steps back. Winnie, I thought you'd outgrow your habit of stealing from the orphanage after leaving. Is this how you repay me for kindly bringing you to my home? Jenny deliberately raised her voice, ensuring all the housekeepers heard. Just then, my adoptive father also walked through the door. What's wrong? Jenny exaggerated the story, and even my adoptive father couldn't help but darken his expression. With reddened eyes, I shook my head. Mom, Dad, I really didn't take that necklace. Before my adoptive parents could speak, Jenny sneered and spoke up, caught red-handed. What excuse could you possibly have? From an angle invisible to our foster parents, Jenny sneered at me, with the air of someone holding all the cards. I allowed myself a subtle smirk. The next second, I fell to my knees with a thud. Dad, Mom, I really didn't take this necklace. My adoptive mother turned her back on me, clearly disappointed. Winnie, I'm afraid our family can no longer keep you, my adoptive father said coldly to me. Winnie couldn't hide the excitement in her eyes. But how could I let her succeed? I wiped away my tears and resolutely dialed the police. The adoptive parents turned their heads, their eyes widening in surprise. Winnie, why did you call the police? I knelt upright. Dad, Mom, if I stole the necklace, you can just send me straight to the police station. There are only a few of us in the house. The fingerprints on the necklace will definitely reveal the thief. Jenny was visibly flustered. What fingerprints? What nonsense are you talking about? She was so frantic that she tried to snatch the necklace back. But I stopped her. Winnie, what are you trying to do? Mom and Dad have important reputations. Don't you know family scandals shouldn't be aired in public? Calling the police over a necklace. Are you deliberately trying to embarrass Mom and Dad? You little bastard with ill intentions. I ignored Jenny's words, looked up at my foster parents, and tears welled up in my eyes at that very moment. The next instant, I knew. My foster mother hesitated. I straightened my back, standing tall and unashamed. Dad, Mom, only the police can prove my innocence now. My adoptive father frowned. But you were too impulsive. Jenny's right. Even the slightest stir in our family would make headlines. Jenny nodded desperately, as if defending the family's honor. But I knew, only her and her adoptive mother's fingerprints were on this necklace. Once the police arrived, the charge of her stealing the necklace would be confirmed. She wouldn't dare. Soon, the sound of police cars gradually approached and stopped downstairs. In the end, my foster father didn't let the police in, dismissing them with just a few words. Let's just drop this matter. If there's a next time, go back to the orphanage by yourself. Even though I calculated it, I knew that if I agreed directly this time, I would lose. Without changing my expression, I pinched myself hard, using the physical pain to force tears to fall drop by drop. No need, choking back sobs. I stubbornly stood up. My parents refused to believe me, and they won't even let the police come to clear my name. It's obvious they just want to send me back to the orphanage. Fine, I'll leave then. As I turned around, I saw the barely contained excitement on Jenny's face, but my foster mother was different. She hurried forward and grabbed my arm. Winnie, that's not what Mom meant. Winnie, Mom believes in you. Maybe the housekeeper forgot where she put it while tidying up. I lowered my gaze, deciding to carry out something I had planned long ago ahead of schedule. I looked at them with tearful eyes. Dad, Mom, Jenny, live well. I'm leaving. You probably won't believe this, but I've been inexplicably bound to a system. If I'm driven out of this home, I'll be permanently erased. As soon as the words fell, I saw Jenny stunned. Probably didn't expect me to say that, but my adoptive parents didn't understand what I was saying. Adoptive father, what nonsense are you talking about? I didn't say much, just shook my head and walked out the door, but just before the door closed, the moment my foster mother called my name, I deliberately collapsed to the ground. Yes, I was gambling that my careful grooming and role-playing over the past 2 days, perfectly fitting their ideal image of a daughter, would. Is there a way to win over my adoptive mother's heart? I bet right. The moment I collapsed, my adoptive parents quickly came out and picked me up directly. Winnie, how could you suddenly faint when everything was fine? My adoptive mother pinched my philtrum, and the trembling in her voice betrayed her panic. But just as my adoptive parents were frantically calling for an ambulance, Jenny suddenly murmured in confusion, "So, the system is really real. If it's real, then Her voice behind me grew increasingly excited. I could feel my adoptive parents' embrace falter for a moment. What system? Was what Winnie just said true? Never mind if it's real or fake. Just carry her back to the bedroom quickly. Estimating that the time was about right, I slowly regained consciousness. My adoptive parents were keeping watch by my bedside. Thank heavens, you're finally awake. The adoptive mother patted her chest and let out a long sigh of relief. Silly child, you scared me to death. Don't you know, what just happened was nothing more than a misunderstanding. How could you take it seriously? Jenny glared at me fiercely from behind her adoptive parents. She probably saw through my trick. But so what? As long as my adoptive parents fall for it, that's enough. I pouted and spoke in a tearful voice. Dad, Mom, my adoptive mother held me in her arms with a pained heart. Oh dear, sweetie, don't cry. I lowered my eyes and leaned into her embrace, feeling nothing inside. She had simply mistaken me for her own biological daughter. In her past life, she treated Jenny the same way. Even after I left and disappeared outside the house, my adoptive father and mother never looked for me once. They didn't care about right or wrong. As long as it was their daughter, It was fine. After crying for a while, my adoptive father suddenly spoke. Winnie, what happened when you fainted at the doorstep just now? I sobbed and explained the system incident in detail. They were skeptical. Jenny scoffed. Mom and Dad, do you really believe it? What system or no system? Isn't this just a lie you made up? See, those who wrong you always know best whether you've been wronged or not. I shook my head without explaining. I bit my lip. Dad, Mom, I don't know why you brought me back too, but since you were willing to take me, does that mean I might be your biological daughter? Back at the orphanage, I heard about something called a paternity test. I'd like to take one. If I'm not your biological daughter, I'll leave immediately. I'll accept it. Even if I get erased. The adoptive parents exchanged glances. According to the timeline, they were about to bring it up themselves in the coming days. They just didn't expect me to speak first. Jenny lifted her chin, her face full of arrogance. Indeed, she truly had the capital to be arrogant. But times are different now. In my past life, she took my life. In this one, I will make her vanish into thin ash in the same way. The paternity test was accepted as soon as it was proposed, however. My adoptive parents were considerate enough to let me rest and recover before going. By evening, my adoptive parents had to go out for some business, leaving only Jenny and me at home. I deliberately took her favorite mangosteen and walked past her. TCH, she sneered at me. Eat, eat, eat. Always picking the most expensive stuff to eat, but you'd better enjoy it while you can. Once you're out of this house, you won't get to eat anything good anymore, let me tell you. There's no way you're Mom and Dad's real daughter. Just wait. You'll be kicked out soon enough. I didn't speak, squinting with delight at how delicious the mangosteen was. Jenny quickly couldn't stand it anymore. She kicked over the trash can and started bossing me around. Hey, I'm talking to you. Go get me some mangosteens. And peel an apple for me. I didn't move, while Jenny stood up threateningly. Hurry up. Have these past 2 days of lessons not taught you anything? Watch out. Or I'll have Mom and Dad kick you out tonight. The last piece of mangosteen went down, and I glanced at the time. The time my adoptive parents said they'd be back was almost here. All right, I'll go now. I ran to the kitchen, keeping an ear out for any movement at the door. Hearing the door open, I deliberately let the fruit knife slip and cut my thumb. The cut wasn't large, but it was deep, and the blood flowed quickly. Blood, blood. My eyes rolled back, and I dropped the apple. Collapsing to the floor, my head hit the ground with a loud thud. The nanny immediately rushed to the kitchen upon hearing it. Oh my God, Miss Winnie has fainted again. I lay motionless on the floor. The pain was unbearable, but compared to the pain Jenny brought me in my past life, it's nothing. My adoptive parents hurriedly carried me back to the bedroom. What's going on? This time, I didn't even leave the house. Oh dear, why is there so much blood on your hands? My adoptive mother gently disinfected my wounds while asking the nanny about what had happened. What on earth happened? We were only gone for such a short time. How could you have fainted again? Jenny was also dumbfounded. Yeah, is the system bugged? Is she going to be eliminated ahead of schedule? Mom, do I look prettier? Her adoptive father immediately scolded her. What does beauty matter at a time like this? Aunt Chen, tell me, what just happened again? The nanny hesitated for a moment before speaking. It was Miss Jenny. She asked Miss Winnie to help her with the fruit. Later, I heard a bang, and when I came in, Miss Winnie had already fainted. The foster father took a deep breath. When he spoke again, his words inevitably carried a hint of reproach. We have a maid at home. Why must you order Winnie around? Besides, if you want fruit, can't you just... I slowly opened my eyes and weakly tugged at my adoptive father's sleeve. Dad. Don't blame Jenny. It's me. I fainted at the sight of blood. Jenny's eyes widened instantly. What? You never fainted at the orphanage? Winnie, stop pretending, will you? Enough. Even the usually good-tempered foster mother couldn't stand it anymore. Regardless of which one of you is biologically related, you're both daughters of this family. Sisters should stand united. After speaking, she turned her gaze to Jenny. Jenny. You were the one who insisted on bringing Winnie home in the first place. Why are you targeting her at every turn now? Jenny froze for a moment, her eyes immediately turning red. Mom, her adoptive mother turned her head away, her chest heaving slightly with anger. I gently patted her back to help her calm down. Let's go for a paternity test tomorrow. It's just that I faint at the sight of blood, so I might. My adoptive father waved his hand dismissively. That's a minor issue. For paternity tests, besides blood, hair and nails can also be used. My foster mother was afraid I might have another episode at night, so she actually stayed up with me the whole night. The next day, We went straight to the hospital. Winnie faints at the sight of blood, so let's test her hair and nails instead. Jenny waved her hand dismissively. She seemed to have a well-thought-out plan. I found it a bit strange. Did the system tell her? At the testing lab, I calmly handed over the hair and nails I had collected from Jenny that day. As for what Jenny submitted, I had secretly switched it out. On the way home from the hospital, she happily hummed a song all the way. Mom, I am your real biological daughter. We haven't been together for so many years. You must stay with me from now on. Jenny snuggled in her adoptive mother's arms, indulging in affection, but if I'm not mistaken, the foster mother's hands hanging in midair clearly showed her helplessness. After a long while, she finally patted Jenny's back lightly. All right, I looked out the window at the scenery along the way. Feel proud. When the results come out in a few days, Jenny won't be so happy anymore. The paternity test results take 7 days to be ready, but Jenny can't wait. She seems to be getting more and more reckless. Hey, bring me that new dress Mom just bought for you. She was snacking and watching TV, casually jerking her chin at me. I didn't argue. It was just a piece of clothing. No big deal to give it away. And by the way, all the money in your card belongs to our family. Transfer every last cent to my account. Not a single thing from our family will you take with you. I continued to endure it all without resistance. As I was going down the stairs, she suddenly gave me a hard shove from behind. I had been prepared, so I wouldn't have fallen in the first place, but I still let myself fall, successfully avoiding serious injury, though my forehead was left with a red, swollen bump. At this point, even the housekeeper couldn't bear to watch. When my adoptive parents returned, she brought the first aid kit to tend to me. Miss Winnie, let me check if the swelling on your forehead has gone down. I'll apply some more medicine for you. The adoptive parents exchanged glances. How did this happen? I glanced timidly at Jenny, not daring to speak. The adoptive parents sensed something was wrong and turned to ask Jenny, what's going on? She casually flipped through TV channels. Mom, Dad, she fell by herself. Why do you care so much? Anyway, she'll be gone soon. Jenny said it casually, but it was the truth. If I'm not their biological child, I'll be kicked out sooner or later. But now, the results haven't come out yet. However, her adoptive father didn't see it that way and was so angry that he slammed his hand on the coffee table. Speak, what's going on? Jenny was startled, but relying on her status as his biological daughter, she stubbornly refused to be afraid. Dad, why are you making such a big deal out of this? It's just that when she was going downstairs, I gave her a little push. She couldn't keep her balance. How is that my fault? Her adoptive father's face turned livid. You're harming someone. Go apologize. Jenny pouted and said sorry reluctantly. For a wild girl, you're being so harsh to your own daughter. See if you'll regret it later. Because I was injured, Jenny's subsequent bullying was suppressed by my foster father, but she didn't care, just kept saying she'd give me one final week. When we went to the hospital to get the results, she smugly linked arms with her adoptive parents, one on each side. Mom, Dad, you'll soon find out who your real child is, Winnie. I originally wanted you to stay with me in our family, but who told you to have sticky fingers? Once we get the results, don't you dare regret it. She was getting a bit carried away. Even her adoptive father slightly frowned. Same here. A man who can become the richest is certainly capable of keeping his composure. Jenny has been acting too arrogantly these days, almost ruling the roost at home. Enough talk. Go get the results. The adoptive mother nervously rubbed her hands. Winnie, let's go. When collecting the results, Jenny and I waited not far away. Jenny crossed her arms and hummed a tune. Winnie, do you know what I want to do most in the future? I want to become the most beautiful woman and then be a star, with lots and lots of fans. Ah, she sighed, but I still don't want to resort to a knife, so I have no choice but to pick you. Jenny foolishly thought I couldn't understand what she was saying, just as I was about to speak. My adoptive parents returned with reddened eyes. Mom, Dad, I was just saying. Before she could finish, I was immediately pulled into a tight embrace by my adoptive parents. Good daughter, we've wronged you these past 10 years. It's all our fault for finding you so late. I was being squeezed so tightly I could barely breathe. My adoptive mother cradled my face, alternating between tears and laughter. That's wonderful, truly wonderful. My foster father then patted my head. Everything understood without words. Our family of 3 was filled with joy and harmony. Only Jenny went crazy. Mom and Dad, are you sure you didn't misread it? She snatched the test results into her own hands without hesitation. A full minute later, Jenny's hands went slack, and the test results fell to the ground. I picked them up and took a look. Winnie and Barrett are biologically related. Impossible. How could this be? Jenny shook her head and muttered. The system clearly told me that I am your biological daughter. Could the test results be wrong? I want to get retested. You come with me to do it again. Jenny came forward to pull me, with such force that red marks appeared on my wrist. My foster father, a grown man, struggled with great effort to separate Jenny and me. Jenny, calm down. We've already said that even if you're not our biological daughter, you can still stay in this family. After calming down, Jenny glared at me fiercely. But this time she got smarter. It wasn't until we got home that she quietly confronted me. Was it you? You tampered with it, didn't you? I smiled candidly. Yes, I did. So what? The results are out now, and the identity of the Johnson family's heiress is mine. I deliberately provoked her, even tugging at the clothes she was wearing. Are you going to return all the clothes you took from me? And from now on, you should be polite to me, otherwise. Being kicked out by your own parents wouldn't feel very good, would it? I thought Jenny would go crazy right away, but I never expected her to endure it. She only left a harsh remark before leaving. I'm the female lead chosen by the system. Just wait for your death. That night, I didn't sleep at all. The malice in Jenny's eyes inexplicably excited me. The domineering Jenny suddenly became well-behaved. She toned down her sharp edges and started acting like a good girl. I wasn't in a hurry either. Observing her while strengthening the mother-daughter bond with my foster mother, I began warming a glass of milk for my foster mother every day. A few days later, Jenny suddenly took over the task of heating the milk. She justified it by saying, I can't disturb Winnie and her mom bonding. I'm already so happy to be staying here. And doing what I can makes me feel at ease. The whole family thought Jenny had become more sensible, but then, without any warning, the foster mother began experiencing excessive sleepiness. Mom, why have you been so drowsy lately? Her adoptive mother seemed listless, rubbing her temples but unable to perk up. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it's spring fatigue. I have my doubts. It wasn't until evening when Jenny came again to deliver milk to my foster mother that I suddenly realized. Yes, Jenny would stop at nothing to achieve her goals. I find it horrifying. I never expected she would actually harm her own biological mother. I didn't make a fuss, but privately told my adoptive mother that I was worried about another incident like the last time when the necklace was stolen, and suggested installing some hidden cameras at home. Although my adoptive mother hesitated a bit, she agreed for the sake of safety. I repeatedly emphasized that this matter shouldn't be mentioned to anyone. Otherwise those with ill intentions might find out and wouldn't be exposed. The adoptive mother agreed. When no one was at home, I secretly installed a pinhole camera in the kitchen. The next day, I saw Jenny drop a pill into the milk before heating it. She was also muttering something under her breath, making you unable to distinguish your own flesh and blood. Serves you right. Someone like that doesn't deserve to be a mother. No pity even if she dies. Die already. Next will be Barrett. Once all of you are dead, no one can drive me out of this house anymore. Everything will be mine in the end. I watched calmly. No wonder Jenny has been so well behaved lately, so she's been biding her time in silence. I could have handed this surveillance footage to my adoptive parents, but I wanted to resolve it in another way. When Jenny brought milk again that evening, I stopped her at the door, masking the hatred in her eyes. She tilted her head at me. What's the matter? I took the milk and carefully examined the bottom of the glass. TSK tisk TSK, Mom has been acting so absent-minded lately. What do you think is the reason? Jenny lowered her head expressionlessly and said, I don't know. I smiled and let her take a glance at the bottom of the cup. You weren't careful enough this time. Look, there are still traces of medicine at the bottom of the cup. Jenny's pupils trembled as she looked up, and the tray holding the milk fell to the ground. Why you? Don't talk nonsense. There's no such thing as medicine dregs. Here, I pointed it out to her. See for yourself. Jenny clenched her fists tightly, a vein bulging at her temple. What are you trying to do? It's not convenient to talk here, so I headed back to my bedroom first. Jenny followed closely behind, locking the door before revealing her usual true colors. Winnie, why aren't you dead yet? Everything here rightfully belongs to me. Why have you taken it all for yourself? Why? I looked around at everything. These things don't belong to me, but I don't think I deserve to die yet, do I? Jenny, from the moment you chose to bind with me, our fate was sealed as a fight to the death. Jenny frowned tightly, guarding against me for the first time. You? I smiled and took over her words. I know everything, but guess who will stay and who will leave now? I showed Jenny that video. I'm quite certain she's already decided to kill me, but before she could act, I pointed to the top of the wardrobe. Surveillance camera. There's one there too. Jenny glanced at the blinking red light and silently withdrew her hand. Winnie, don't think you're the only one who can play the victim card. I shrugged indifferently, the smile in my eyes unfathomably deep. Who would believe you? I have proof. And do you really think they'd distrust their own flesh and blood to believe an outsider instead? Jenny seemed to finally realize her dire situation. She panicked, her eyes darting around frantically as a layer of fine, cold sweat broke out on her forehead. The ridiculous part was, in the end, she actually pinned her hopes on me. Winnie, please, don't report me. Let's both stay in this family. Okay, I won't cause you any more trouble. I'll just quietly be a background character. I don't want to die, please. Before she could finish, I heard a cold, mechanical voice. System. The system serves only one host. If the task is not completed within the specified time, both the host and the bound individual will be destroyed. The smile at the corner of my lips grew wider. Even if the system didn't remind me, I wouldn't coexist with Jenny anyway. Jenny broke down. She collapsed to the ground as if drained of strength, hugging her head and muttering to herself, "You can't drive me away. If I leave this home, the system will eliminate me." I smiled. I've already used that excuse before. If you say it again. It's just the boy who cried wolf. No one will believe it. Jenny suddenly looked at me, as if grasping at the last straw. What should I do then? Please tell me, what should I do? I really don't want to die. I let Jenny kneel beside my feet, pretending to seriously offer her advice. If they don't believe you, then break out of the system and show them in a more direct way, whether it's threats or self-harm. They wouldn't just stand by and watch a life slip away. Jenny nodded blankly. She stumbled out of my bedroom, her whole being as if she had lost her soul. This was the first time I felt anticipation since my rebirth, looking forward to seeing what Jenny will do this time. I deliberately waited until my adoptive mother had overslept through lunch again, then asked her with feigned concern, "Mom, you've been sleeping too much lately. Shouldn't you get checked out?" After some thought, my adoptive mother called over her private physician. The results came out soon. The adoptive mother's drowsiness was due to excessive intake of benzodiazepines, commonly known as sleeping pills. The adoptive mother looked pale. "Auntie, let's check if there are any sleeping medications in our house." "Winnie, have you been feeling the same way as Mom lately? If so, we should go to the hospital for a checkup as soon as possible. And you, old Joe, are you feeling unwell anywhere?" Both my adoptive father and I shook our heads. Just then, Jenny walked over, and my adoptive mother anxiously grabbed her and started asking, "Jenny, have you been feeling unusually sleepy lately? Why do you look so exhausted?" Jenny froze. Before she could make any excuses, the housekeeper found a bottle of sleeping pills in her room. "Madam, is this what you're looking for?" Jenny's face turned deathly pale as she collapsed to the ground. After interrogating her thoroughly, her adoptive parents flew into a rage. Her adoptive father was so furious that he kicked Jenny squarely in the chest. "Call the police. We must call the police." Jenny's dazed eyes gradually regained focus. She glanced at me, then suddenly stood up and ran out as if remembering something. I knew she intended to use her life as a threat. My adoptive father angrily slammed the table. "Jenny, stop right there. You dare to drug someone today. Tomorrow you'll dare to kill. Come with me to the police station right now." After settling my mentally unstable adoptive mother, I returned to my room for a while. When I came back, my face was full of concern. I deleted all other content that could be used against me, keeping only one complete version, the video of Jenny drugging someone. "Mom. Dad, I never expected Jenny to do something like this. Is she having a mental breakdown? Dad, let's go check on Jenny. I hope she doesn't do anything foolish." His adoptive father turned livid with rage, while his adoptive mother nearly fainted from shock. After a flurry of chaos, the adoptive father gritted his teeth and said, "Winnie, come with me to find that wretched Jenny. I want to see if this ungrateful wretch has any conscience left." I readily agreed. After all, I had to be present to witness the final victory. Jenny had run to the rooftop of the nearest office building. By the time we arrived, she was tearfully looking at her adoptive father. "Dad, I really am your biological daughter. Why won't you believe me?" Her adoptive father stared at her, his eyes filled with indifference. Would a biological daughter drug her own mother with sleeping pills, and even try to kill both of us, just to avoid being kicked out of the house? "Jenny, get down here and turn yourself in at the police station, and I won't lay another hand on you. Otherwise, don't blame me for what happens next." Jenny not only didn't come down but instead moved closer to the edge. She screamed in despair, her voice hoarse and desperate. You can't send me to the police station, you can't kick me out of this house, otherwise, I'll jump from here and make you feel guilty for the rest of your life. The adoptive father showed not a trace of emotion. With your behavior, you still want to live in this house. Dream on. If you want to die, go die somewhere far away. As long as I'm here, you'll never have a place to stand. I don't have a vicious adopted daughter like you. Jenny's face turned deathly pale. I listened quietly without making a sound. The way my adoptive father was driving Jenny away now was just as indifferent as when he drove me away in my past life. But I knew. This sentence was evidence of the system eliminating Jenny. Sure enough, as soon as the words were spoken, Jenny suddenly stiffened and fell straight to the ground. I screamed, and my adoptive father, unwilling to see a life vanish before his eyes, rushed over to try and catch Jenny, but it was all too late, because Jenny jumped off the building. Both my adoptive father and I were taken to the police station to give statements, but there happened to be surveillance on the rooftop, proving my adoptive father and I were innocent, but my adoptive father's expression darkened. On the way back, he finally couldn't hold back his question. In his tone, I detected a hint of confusion. Why did Winnie commit suicide? Was it just because I wanted to drive her away? I lowered my gaze and responded with a faint, After my death in my previous life, I wonder if my adoptive father ever had the same doubt, but it's all in the past now, and I don't want to dwell on it anymore, because of Jenny's death. My adoptive parents' spirits were low for a while before gradually recovering, but I was different. I stood in front of the mirror and carefully examined my face. My already praised looks had subtly become even more refined and beautiful. I looked in the direction where Jenny had jumped, unable to suppress a smile. If she hadn't been so greedy, she wouldn't have died at all. She could have relied on the system, gradually becoming that shining star in the entertainment industry. Too bad. None of it has anything to do with her anymore. Soon, wherever I went, I would encounter different talent scouts trying to persuade me to enter the entertainment industry. They said my face was destined to become the next rising star, but I had no interest in any of it. I turned around, found my adoptive parents, and directly chose the best high school, boarding, far from home. On the day I left for school, my adoptive parents saw me off with tears in their eyes. Winnie, you're all we have left now. Yes, I was all they had left, considering they had provided me with a life of comfort and abundance all these years. I'll take care of Jenny's parents in their old age. After all, this is a transaction. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you.